Hello guys, and welcome back. So I've got some more board gaming related content for you. It's actually not very good news. It's relating to CMON once again, or Come On, or CMON, or Cool Mini or Not, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read from Board Game Wire the latest update on this beleaguered company. So, CMON announces cancellation of the Genesis Clan Wars GameFound campaign the Genesis Clan Wars GameFound campaign after breakdown in relationship, legal dispute with IP holder. Now, I did not know anything about this. I didn't actually put a pledge in for this one. It just didn't really interest me. So, financially troubled board game publishing major. Again, as I said in my previous video, you'll very often hear CMON called one of the majors. That's basically deriving from the fact that they are one of the biggest crowdfunding board gaming companies out there. So yeah, publishing major CMON has suffered another blow after revealing its GameFound campaign for the Genesis Clan Wars has been cancelled by the IP holder amid a legal wrangle between the pair. CMON announced to the campaign's 1,200 backers, dearie me, that German design studio Six More Vodka had terminated its contract with the publisher after what it says began as a collaborative and respectful relationship quickly became one in which legal channels were the only remaining form of contact. CMON claims that after months of work during which it paid factories to complete molds for the game's miniatures, it received a surprise demand from SMV for a sum exceeding the $339,000 raised during the campaign, which included expenditures it said were not in the agreement, despite saying it had already paid SMV several advances. A statement SMV founder Marko Djurjevic provided Board Game Wire said the company disagreed with CMON's account in the strongest possible terms, adding that it was not informed about the publisher's announcement in advance and certainly did not expect this attempt to shift the blame for the project's failure onto our plate. SMV said, "As a tiny company, we sought out CMON as a capable publishing partner to help us deliver the game we care so much about." Scrolling down. However, after we delivered all required materials over a year ago, communication largely ceased. Transparency is a core tenet in communication with our fans, but with the game in CMON's hands and no details available to us, we were unable to uphold our standards, leaving us increasingly uncomfortable and eventually bringing us here. In the meantime, we can confirm only that the contract has indeed been terminated by us, a step which was not taken lightly after extensive attempts to resolve matters in a more amicable manner. CMON has not yet responded to Board Game Wire's request for comment about SMV's claims. The company said in its announcement, "We have held up our end of the contract, paid SMV advances as agreed, and have continued to dedicate our own resources to bringing this project to its current point." CMON added that backers would receive a 100% refund for the campaign, although added that the process would not begin until after final legal resolution. Djurjevic told Board Game Wire, "This obviously has had quite a crippling effect on the development of the Genesis IP, as we're now going on 2.5 years without a solid release and no return on investment in sight, along with the inability to provide our fans and backers with clarity on the subject. We're trying to keep our heads high and continue working on our latest project, Orkan, but we'll need to stay calm and see how the situation develops now that CMON has chosen to go this route. As our own ownership of the Genesis Clan Wars, due to the termination of the contract, the IP is back in our hands and we'll need to evaluate our options going forward, whether that's finding a way to make some of the game's assets available online as STLs, etc., or finding a new publisher. We can't say for now. The cancellation comes a couple of months after Merchant's Cove and Coloma publisher Final Frontier Games revealed it was shutting down with 3 crowdfunding projects worth nearly $1.4 million still unfulfilled, claiming that CMON failing to pay for an agreed Chinese localization of one title was the final nail in its coffin. The Macedonia-based company had been in dire financial straits for 5 years after taking on huge unexpected costs around delivering its first Merchant's Cove campaign at the height of the pandemic, with spiking shipping leading to an unplanned bill of more than $350,000. CMON did not respond to a request from BoardGameWire for clarification about the Final Frontier situation, but reportedly told some backers of the game over email that it never received final copies of the game from Final Frontier and was only contracted to pay after completion and before pickup. The Degenesis cancellation continues a traumatic year for CMON, which revealed in April that it had slumped to a $3 million loss last year, almost double its total profits from the previous 3 years combined. CMON has since halted new game development and campaign launches amid unpredictability around the US tariff situation, and last month sold a string of games including its most famous and profitable title Zombicide, as well as Eric Lang Designs' Blood Rage and Rising Sun. Following the Degenesis cancellation, CMON has 8 undelivered crowdfunding campaigns which raised about $80 million in various stages of production, as well as another 7 pre-ordered games. 2 crowdfunded titles and 6 pre-orders are currently due for delivery by CMON before the end of this year, including Deceased, the Zombicide game, which raised more than $2.5 million in a Kickstarter campaign. 4 other crowdfunding projects the company had expected to fulfill this year, including the $4.4 million DC Superheroes United, have now been shifted to Q1 2026. So far this year, the company has completed a $2.85 million crowdfund for Massive Darkness Dungeons of Shadowreach on GameFound, picking up support from more than 9,800 backers. I'm one of those, so I went all in, bought everything. So I'm really hoping that CMON turn it around. I mean, I did back the Massive Darkness 2 massive all in, which is why I went for the latest one as well. But yeah, worrying signs once again that CMON are in dire straits. I mean, I can kind of understand the situation from both sides. I think the German design studio 6 More Vodka, the guys who own the IP for Degenesis Clan Wars, should have at the same time provisioned for the fact that CMON were going through quite a rough patch for the last year, what with their financial situation and also with the sale of Zombicide IP. But at the same time, CMON should still have provided some level of communication as to what was happening with the manufacturer of the Genesis Clan Wars, the miniatures, and so on, and how that was progressing. So I can understand 6 More Vodka being frustrated that they were basically receiving no updates from CMON about at what stage CMON were at. But at the same time, CMON weren't really in a position to really say anything. And to be honest with you, there's probably no update because of the financial issues that they're having. So I guess it's 6 More Vodka. This is kind of like a knee-jerk reaction. Well, I wouldn't say a knee-jerk reaction, but a reaction because they're obviously worried that CMON might go under and they'll lose everything. So, but of course, these legal issues are not going to help CMON and their other projects, which are still in the pipeline. But yeah, so I thought I would bring this news over to yourself. This article was published on the 4th of July, so not very long ago. And yeah, if you don't want me to make board game related videos on this channel, then please let me know in the comments. I might set up or create another channel for this. But yeah, if you've reached this far, then give yourself a pat on the back. You deserve it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.